You don't exist. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowed like sis. Dead up perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the third part of What If Deku Enters Kamenrider. Special note, this fanfic is written in a masterpiece of Mickle97 on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Back to Izuku. It is a tough fight. Both opponents have equal fighting skills, and they were tired and exhausted similarly. You are strong, admitted Zai-O in huffing. So you are. You can truly become a true Kamenrider, Sanajiman added in acknowledgement. But all things must come to the end. Now you will see my true form. Koriki Shorai, he screamed while raising his arms in the air while preparing for something. However, nothing happened. Only awkward silence. I am sorry, but what is supposed to happen? Izuku asked in confusion, tilting his head. Why? Sanajiman screamed in frustration. Why can't I access my Inazuman form? It was only a month, but I still can't do it. Wait a minute. You want to tell me that this form is just your incomplete mutant form? Midoriya asked in deep realization. This guy is not a monster. He is just a guy with mutant-type quirk. It means that he is an intelligent person, not a mindless beast like another rider. You are not a monster, it's just your quirk. Exactly. I am not a monster. I am Inazuman, warrior of freedom. New hero of Amanagawa, he announced with pride. Then he looks down at himself, remembering something important. At least I supposed to be. Right now, I am Sanajiman. Despite my appearance, in the name of Force Senpai, I will protect both Amanagawa schools and my friends. I see. You are Forest Senpai's successor, Zai-O commented in realization. He then decides to prove to Sanajiman that he is not his enemy but his ally. He just throws away his Zikin Jurade much to the Puta mutant's confusion. I am not your enemy, Sanajiman-san. I want to help you, your friends, Forest Senpai and Amanagawa Junior High. But the only way I can do it is through him. I really need to meet him. Sanajiman could only look in astonishment at the actions of this new rider. He just called him Forest's successor, and not a monster like everyone else. He even let go of his sword and refused to fight him. He really wants to help him. Maybe he needs to ask him for the help. No. He no longer can let other people take care of his own job. He needs to defeat this fake Forest by himself. Before the talk could continue further, the sound of an explosion happened and Geiz flew with a hard landing. Forest Zordierts jumped after him with growling and grunting. Fire on! Bully rider! Feel my wrath! Shouted another rider while collecting many fires on his right hand. Then he shoots them in one big beam of burning fire stream to Geiz. Geiz, get up! Izuku screamed in horror, startling Sanajiman. After their fight, Future Rider could only watch hopelessly at the upcoming attack. He praised that his rider's suit could survive such a blast. Fortunately, he has unexpected help. Suddenly, Tsukuyomi jumps on the way to the stream and thrusts her hand open. For a second, everyone thought that right now she would stop the time and save Geiz. However, it didn't happen. The explosion simply happened, engulfing both of them in the fire, much to the horror of Zai-O and Sanajiman. However, it wasn't over. The fire around the duo was spinning and dancing before gathering in one big fireball in Tsukuyomi's hands. Then the color of the fires changes from red and orange to bright yellow. With a shout, she throws the fireball to another Force, making him fly away. Then Geiz ran to the another rider, only to be surprised by his right arm, which transformed into the large orange rocket. The imposter then flies away from the battle, much to the duo's displeasure. Before they could discuss their next move, they were attacked by unstoppable calamity. That was awesome quirk. Please tell me how it works. Its name is Izuku's curiosity and desire to know everything about quirks. My quirk is basically my grandfather's, only more evolved than his, Tsukuyomi explained with a sigh. She knew that one day she would need to explain everything to him. Like him, I can create explosions, but in that place similarities end. I also can control and absorb other energies that are shooting at me, such as fire, lightning, laser beams, lava, etc. Then I can change their shape and form them into powers of my own and unleash it at my enemies. But there is one weakness. If the blast will be too much for me, then it will hurt me much worse. I called my quirk combustion. At her words, Izuku started frantically writing down everything while muttering his usual theories and ideas about how to better use her quirk or hidden abilities. Future Duo didn't react to it. They knew him so long that they already got used to him and his habits. Zai-o, you are an idiot. Geiz face palmed in annoyance. However, today is the exception, because Midoriya forgot one important detail. At his comment, Izuku looks at him in confusion. In answer, he only receives a deadpan stare from both of his friends. Then they show behind him, and he sees that Sanajiman is still there, and with him Miyop, who holds a pair of boys' clothes, Ruby, Kong, and Nezumi. Looks like many people come here to watch the battle of riders. But Midoriya still doesn't understand what's wrong. Then Tsukuyomi points at him. He looks down only to gap in shock. It explains everything. When he was asking questions and writing everything he had heard, he accidentally dehenshin without noticing. And now people know his secret identity. One thing for sure, Izuku understood that he is very screwed now. I am an idiot, he agreed with Mayacoin. Then Midoriya turns around and sheepishly waves his hand at them. Hello guys. At that display both Geiz and Tsukuyomi groaned and face-palmed in exasperation. Finally, Izuku turns around and answers them very fast. I know you have a lot of questions, but we are very busy, so goodbye. However, before they could lose the group, they were stopped by a familiar teacher. Wait a minute, screamed Chuda, entering the fray looking more displeased than usual. I knew that you kids would become a problem. But break in the school? That's against the law. Now get out of here before I will call the police. He then once more hit his suspenders, making a snap before pushing Izuku, Geiz, and Tsukuyomi towards the main gate. In addition, he didn't hear their pleas and explanations and simply dismissed them while Space Kamen Rider Club were just standing there not knowing what to do. Our heroes need a way out or else they are finished. Fortunately, they have two saviors for them. It's okay, Ashugi-sensei. They are good guys. I can watch for them. An enthusiastic voice called behind them. All of them turn around only to see the school legend, Gentaro Kisaragi, their school teacher. Kisaragi-sensei, Kisaragi, Force senpai? Screamed asked the group in shock and surprise. Hello, my buds, Gentaro happily greeted them. Osagi-sensei, these two boys are the new mysterious Kamen Rider that recently appeared. And today they fought the monster that looked like me. They are on our side. How do you know about Kisaragi? Chuda asked in confusion. I have friends everywhere, he answered with a smile while gesturing for a figure behind him to get out. At the next second, all of the jaws dropped to the floor because the person is Ochako Yororaka herself. Yororaka-san, what are you doing here? Izuku asked in shock. Yororaka, do you know them? Asked Miyop in confusion. Izuku-kun, remember when you asked me about my school? Well, I am a student at New Amanagawa Junior High, Ochako answered with an embarrassed smile, shocking the poor boy. She then turns to the Oki and continues. This one is a new friend I talked to last time. Well, that's him. Sorry for not telling you guys before. There were some difficulties. It's okay, Yororaka, Gentaro reassured her by putting a hand on her shoulder. Like an older rider and good friend, there are some secrets that should be kept. But now, let's not think about bad things. We need to think of the identity and the next move of this fake rider. Fortunately, Burgermeal got some footage of him. But let me continue in the club. Before the young riders could go, they were rudely interrupted. Wait, you are new Kamen Riders. Why did you not tell me that in the first place? Chuda angrily asked, making once more a snap from his suspenders. At those words, everyone fell down in anime style. Several minutes later, Gentaro guided others to the old classroom. It was nothing special. Just a normal room with chairs, tables, and chalkboards. What was interesting was the big photo stand, which had photos of younger Gentaro and other people with big flags with For's mark on it. Some of them Izuku easily recognized as older members of the original Kamen Rider Club. At that moment, he realized that he was in the Space Kamen Rider Club's new headquarters, and he didn't stop to gush about the photos of original members. I can't believe it. I am in the base of kamenrider Club, the home of the friendship hero, kamenrider 4's 12th main official Heisei kamenrider. And these are photos of the founders of this club: spacewoman Yuki Jajima, space scientist Kengo Yudahoshi, model Miyu Kazushiro, football star Shun Daimonji, reporter JK, novelist Tomoko Nozoma, spy hero, kamenrider Meteor. And today I also met the main rider itself. Today is the best day of my life. If I die today, I would die happy. At the same time, all Amanagawa Junior High is looking at him with sweat drops and disbelief on their faces. They couldn't imagine that the brave kamenrider who just fought against another 4's and their new school local hero and now became a hysterical fanboy who is almost ready to faint from foam on his mouth. Geiz, Tsukuyomi and Ochako could only sigh in embarrassment, already expecting such reaction from their fan friend. Gentaro smiled at it. It's nice sometimes to be appreciated by others. He is more rider fanboy than all of us combined, commented Nezumi in disbelief. Other members of the club agreed with him by nodding. This guy has the powers of kamenrider, Saburo asked himself in shock. Miyup just nodded in agreement. When you die, everyone will be happy, snarled Geiz in annoyance. In answer, Tsukuyomi and Ochako angrily stomped on his feet, making him whimper and cringe from pain. How could he forget club advisor? Asked Chuda in sadness. Sento was right about you, Kisaragi admitted with a smile. You are a real-big and true fan of kamenriders. Not everyone can become so interesting about my buds from my school days. Sento-senpai, you know him? Izuku asked in shock. We both riders and we both teachers in the hero schools, Gentaro answered with a light chuckle. The group could only nod in understanding at such simple logic. He also told me about you and your enemies. I see. That means you need it. It will need to destroy another 4's, Midoriya commented before giving him a blank ride watch. At the moment when older riders change their colors and shape into a white-based and orange face plate with a kamenrider 4's helmet on the plate and the number 2011, which is his year, was at the bottom. 4's. Thanks kid, said Gentaro with a smile. You had an interesting Astra switches. Astro what? Asked Geiz in confusion. Astra switches. Kisaragi-sensei's transformation devices. It helps him to transform and to fight, Ochako suddenly explained before the group's attention was totally on her. Ochako-san, why did you not tell us that you are a student of Amanagawa? It could really help us more than breaking in the school, asked Tsukuyomi in intrigue. I am sorry I didn't tell you anything. It's just I wanted to have real friends who do not dream to only meet Kisaragi-sensei. I had the same reasons to hide it as Space kamenrider Club. Uraraka answered with some shame. She then turns to the members of the said club. I am sorry guys, I didn't tell you that I know who kamenrider is, but they just don't want to lose their privacy. Both groups couldn't help but to feel sorry for Uraraka. She was keeping the secrets from her new friends and her club. She was only doing a favor for all of her friends. She never wanted to make everyone feel bad. She was only protecting secrets of others. That's all. That's okay, Uraraka. You have done nothing wrong, reassured Gentaro, putting a hand on her shoulder. You were just looking out for your friends. You wanted only good things for them. That made you a good friend for all of them. You are an awesome bud. He then gives his hand for a handshake. She gives her own hand for it. They flipped their hands up. Then both of them give each other a fist bump before Gentaro brings his hand down atop Uraraka, and then they finish by hitting it upwards. For someone who is not from Amanagawa, this handshake looks strange and weird, but for those who are students of the named school knows the true meaning of this gesture. Can somebody explain to me what that was? Asked Geiz in bewilderment. It was 4's legendary handshake of friendship, explained Chuda with a rare smile on his face. It means that no matter what happens in the future, you will always be friends. It's a symbol of what Kisaragi is fighting for. Friendship. At that speech, members of Space kamenrider Club were smiling at each other, remembering the great time with each other from the moment they became friends. They will not trade such times for anything in this world. For Geiz and Tsukuyomi, it was a bitter reminder about their time in the resistance when they lost their friends to that demon. They still hope that they can avenge their fallen comrades by changing the future for the better. They also hoped that they would not need to kill Izuku for the bright future. For Izuku, it was a sad reminder about his past with Katsuki. Before he learnt that he is quirkless, they were good friends. But everything changed when Bakugou gained his quirk, leaving Midoriya in the dust because he was inferior to him. But despite everything, Izuku was hoping that they could mend their friendship back in the future. Unfortunately, with each year he started to doubt himself about the possibility of being friends with Loud Explosion Blonde. Sometimes he even asks himself a question, are they ever friends? Their thoughts were interrupted by Gentaro. Okay, let's start with this another writer. He started with his usual smile. I think I kinda learned his identity. How Gen-chan? Asked Oki in surprise. We were trying to find him for months and without any success. I had help with my little scout, Kisaragi answered enthusiastically, pointing at the door. Suddenly from the doors came the same robot who was spying on Izuku, Geiz and Tsukayomi from the moment they broke in Amanagawa. What is that supposed to be? Asked Mayacoin in alarm. That's Burger Meal. One of the original Kamenrider Club's support droids. They called themselves Foodroids, explained Kong in realization. They were perfect scouts for spying for an enemy or gathering information. They also looked delicious. Try not to eat them again. I can't build new ones every time you are hungry, Kong, said the voice which is coming from the droid. It then shows the hologram of the space young scientist. It is Kengo Yudahoshi, the best friend of Fours and one of the founders of the Kamenrider Club. I know that your quirk can help you to eat and digest through anything, but it doesn't mean that foodroids are your personal snacks. Yudahoshi-san, screamed all students in shock. Hello, kids, Kengo greeted them with a wave. Kisaragi called me and asked me to check grounds for the disturbance in Amanagawa 3 weeks ago. And I finally found him. In addition, I saw you three breaking in the Amanagawa using the walls. At that mention, the trio blush from embarrassment, guilt and shame from their actions. Fortunately, Gentaro is always here to save or to help his friends. It's okay, Kengo. These three buds with me, he reassured his scientist friend. They are new Kamen Riders that Sento told us about. Can you show us the footage that you find today? With a sigh, Kengo shows them a holographic video. It shows Forest Zodiarts, who appeared tired from the last fight, and then he transforms back to the student of Amanagawa Junior High. The human identity of the teenager is known for Kisaragi, Ashugi, and surprisingly Kazuda. It is Tetsuya Hoshi. Tetsuya, said Saburo in confusion and shock. Do you know this guy? Asked Geiz in his soldier mode. Yeah, his name is Tetsuya Hoshi. He is one of our students, answered Gentaro in dread. He is average, trying to escape conflicts and fights from others. Every time we met him, he always attacked bullies. And only them, commented Ruby with some thought. It's understandable. Something like him will do anything to fight against them. Especially if we count one important detail, added Chuda with a big sigh. Seeing confusion on kids' faces, he snapped his suspenders before answering. He is quirkless. They are everyday victims to the idiotic and egoistical bullies. At such words, everything started to make sense. Why another Fours attacked only bullies and never hurt other students. He knew what it feels like when you are weak in the world of the strong. He only wanted to protect those who can't protect themselves. Izuku and Miyoko could only look down at understanding his feelings and his pain. Wait, if he is only beating bad guys, then why should we try to stop him? Asked Nezumi in confusion. I mean, he only attacks guys who really deserve it. Maybe we should stay everything the same. In answer, he only received a slap on the back of his head from Ruby. The first reason, for now he defeats his opponents simply using intimidation. But soon it can change into strong physical pain for others. He can get himself serious problems if he traumatizes some kids. Both physically and mentally, answered Gentaro with a rare seriousness on his face. The second reason is for his own good. When I first started to fight as Fours, I encountered a guy who shunned himself out from everyone because of the guilt from his actions as Zodiarts. As his teacher, I can't let my own student repeat such mistakes. Such a speech really made the future duo look at Gentaro in a different light. From the moment they met him, they thought that Fours is funny, goofy, and unserious Kamen Rider they ever saw. But in reality, he is caring teacher who had a great responsibility over his students. He is ready for everything to help them. Looks like every Kamen Rider can their own way and their own reasons to fight. Not all riders must have the same priorities. However, Tsukuyomi had one important question. Kisaragi-sensei, I am curious, she started carefully. 4's Zodiacs started to rampage a month ago. And when they appeared, the original riders started to lose their power. How did you not notice that your powers are disappearing? At her question, every member of Space Kamen Rider Club, except for Ochako, froze from the shock. Even teachers and Kengo stopped for the moment. What they didn't notice is that Saburo looked down in guilt and clenched his fist, and Oki who put a hand on his shoulder and looked at him in worry. But Izuku noticed it. Oh, the answer is easy, Kisaragi answered, trying to show himself unnerved. The short version, I needed to blow 4's driver to save my friend. Geiz and Tsukuyomi almost face-faulted from such an absurd answer. But Izuku and Ochako thought there is more to his story than he told them. But now the 4's driver is almost rebuilt. Is it Kengo? He is finished, Kisaragi, the hologram of Yudahoshi answered. I gave it to Sakuda. I sent him a possible coordinate for another rider. He will wait for you there. It's sweet, Kengo, Gentaro commented before unexpectedly blurted. Also, how is Yuki? Kisaragi, you have a 4's imposter on the loose in your school, and you are suddenly asking about the well-being of my pregnant wife, rhetorically asked Kengo with frown. You know me, Kengo, the teacher answered with a smile, bumping his hand against his chest twice before he pointed at Yudahoshi dramatically. Well-being of my buds is my first priority. You never change, the scientist commented with a smile on his face. But that's what made me your friend in the first place. And others would agree with me, countered playfully Kisaragi. You are right, Yudahoshi chuckled for the first time. Well, for now she is okay. She is no cranky as other women. But it made her kinda loony. When the two old friends were talking about their past, no one in the room didn't notice that Kazeta secretly left the room with Huff, except for Midoriya who went after him. Making sure that no one was following him, Saburo let out a grunt of frustration and punched the wall. This day just doesn't seem to be getting any better. He lost against another 4's. He lost his ability to transform into Inazuman. He lost to this new rider. And now his oldest friend is revealed to be the monster that masqueraded as ugly form of his teacher, and he can't do anything to save him. It is a really sore subject for him. After Kisaragi sacrificed his driver, Kazeta opened his true potential as Inazuman, and he promised his teacher that he will become a hero that the entire school and himself will be proud of. But now he lost his true power. He never felt so useless in his life. His thoughts were interrupted by the creaking door. He turns around and sees his new friend, who is also a Kamen rider. Despite the fact that they only met today, this guy already proves himself to be trustworthy. If you forget the moment he kept his secret as Kamen rider. But Saburo didn't tell him his secret either. It means that doesn't count at all. Hi, Kazeta-kun, Izuku awkwardly greeted him. Hi, Saburo greeted back. Listen, I am sorry for keeping my identity a secret from you. But I had many reasons for that, Midoriya explained with a sigh. And I didn't lie when we first met. I liked to talk with you. You are the first person who really listened to me. I still want to be your friend if that's okay with you. It's okay, Midoriya. I get it. And I am not mad at you. I completely understand your reasons, Kazeta reassured him, hiding his surprise at the news that Midoriya wants to be his friend. Then his expression becomes sad and clouded again. It's just I have much bigger problems on my plate. I see, green-haired commented in understanding. He then remembered something he wanted to ask him. You know another 4's. I noticed that you were shocked when they showed us his identity. He is your friend. You are the sharp, black-haired commented impressed with his analytical and observation skills. Tetsuya and I were best friends before, but now everything is very difficult to explain. Let's try at the beginning, Izuku advised him. Tetsuya and I were from the same street, Saburo started with a sigh. We do many things together. We dreamed that both of us would become the greatest heroes who ever existed, and we promised each other that we will always be together. But everything changed when people announced that I gained a quirk and Tetsuya stayed quirkless. I see, it's just like me and Kaken, Midoriya thought in sadness, seeing similarities in both their childhoods. But what Kazeta said next was totally he didn't expect to hear at all. After learning what quirk I gained, I was shunned out from society. That really shocked Izuku. For a second he thought that he was gone to the alternative universe or something. For him it was something non-existent that a person who has a quirk was shunned out by everyone, but a person who doesn't have a quirk was spared. It starts to become truly interesting. My transformation wasn't my first power. It started as small telekinetic and psychic powers, but they could only hurt people or destroy something. Because of that, I was casted out by everyone I knew. My parents, my friends, and my old teachers, they feared me. In their eyes, I become a monster for them. When my transformation into Sanajiman happened, my curse as a monster was completed. Then I started to hate and despise the current world and wished to change it. I wasn't alone. I met people like Nezumi, Ruby, and Kong. They were outcasts just like me. We founded our own club, Monster League. One day we met a man who told us that he wants to help build a new society. But in truth, he just wanted to create an army of super soldiers. We made a rampage and showed our powers in school. I almost killed Kisaragi-sensei. My friends were saved by the original members of Kamenrider Club. Unfortunately, I was a different case. In frustration, I attacked Kisaragi-sensei and told him about my difficult childhood. He told me that I can become a hero, that I can have friends, that I can become a hero. Problem was that my own fears gave me this ugly form of puta, and I need to break them so I can become stronger and free. Suddenly, the same man who wanted to destroy the space shuttle appeared and kidnapped me up. Despite our differences, I never wanted for her to hurt. Then I asked Kisaragi-sensei to save her. But you can't imagine what he did. He destroyed Four's driver. He said that I can save her myself. I only need to let go of my fears, and I will transform from pupa to butterfly. And I did it. I become Inazuman, warrior of freedom. And I defeated Hercules Zodiarts and saved me up. Next day, everything changed for us. Monster League becomes Shounen League, and we become a part of Space Kamenrider Club. Inazuman starts to become Aminagawa's new hero. And I finally gained friends, a place, and a dream. However, my guilt didn't go away. Every time I see Kisaragi-sensei, I always remind myself about his sacrifice to save me from my fears and insecurities. Because of me, Japan lost one of the best hero teachers who ever existed. I promised myself that I will become a hero he can be proud of. And now look around. My old friend becomes the monster version of the first person who truly believed in me. I lost the ability to transform into an Inazuman. And I lost against newbie Kamenrider, no offense. Great start for the new Aminagawa hero. Izuku could only gap in shock. He couldn't imagine for someone to live such horrible life. He knew that quirkless people are treated as dirt. He knows it. He is quirkless himself. But to hear that person with quirk was outcast from society, just only because his powers are scary. He always thought that people with quirks had easy life in this world, but it looks like he was wrong about it. That's terrible, Kazuda-kun, Izuku commented in sadness. You are not a monster. It wasn't your fault that you were just born with different powers. I always thought that people with quirks are having an easy and happy life. Thank you for your kind words, Saburo answered. He was happy and surprised to see a new person who doesn't see him as a monster. But about your last sentence. You are wrong. I am not the only victim. I know many people who were bullied by others only because they had monster-type quirks. I wish to be born as quirkless. At least people wouldn't find anything special in me and would just leave me alone. You are deep wrong about it, Midoriya commented with a little cringe. I am quirkless. And it didn't help me escape bullying. If anything, it made everything worse. I was a victim only because I was born powerless and useless. But it looks like we both were wrong about each other's lives. Heh, look at us. Both different and both similar at the same time, Kazuda chuckled. Both people lived totally alone. One was alone because he was born powerless, and the second one was alone because he was born too powerful. At such wisdom, Izuku could only chuckle in agreement. He couldn't deny his words. Both of them are very similar to each other, but they had one big difference. At least you still have a childhood friend. Mine left me and became my main bully, Midoriya admitted with a frown. Why did you stop meeting with yours? At first I didn't let him go. When the bullying started, he kinda became distant. I thought he just started afraid of me just like others. Or he simply was afraid that he would become a victim himself, Kazeda explained with a tired sigh. But I didn't give it much thought back there. If he was saved from bullies, for me it was more than enough. That could be the reason for his attacks. Izuku started to mumble again, freaking Saburo. He is feeling guilty for not protecting you back there in the past. And he then decided to accept the power of another rider and started to attack bullies so that no one could repeat his mistakes. Does that mean that Hoshi-san conscious is still active inside another force, and it means that we can break through it and save him from himself? Coughed Saburo, stopping Greeneat in his tracks. How is it possible that I have weird monster-like power, and you are the weird one? In answer, he received a helpless shrug. It doesn't matter. Tell me, do you really think that the reason he targets bullies is because of our past? I don't know, but it's worth a try, Midoriya answered honestly. It still doesn't change much, Kazeda acknowledged. Without Inazuman's power, I can't fight him. Why can't I transform into him? I think I got a theory about it, Izuku answered the rhetorical question. You told me that you first used Inazuman after Oki-san was kidnapped by your traitorous deceiver, right? And what did you feel when you first saw another force? Outrage and disgust. Because I saw the figure, a very ugly one if I do say so myself, impersonating a hero I admire, answered Saburo with a sigh. I thought that you felt the same, being the rider fan and everything. That's it, I know what's wrong, Izuku screamed happily in realization. Your determination changed. At first you wanted to save your friend that made your quirk evolve. You were filled with freedom and friendship. But now your thoughts are filled with hatred and destruction. It blocks your transformation. If you want to transform into Inazuman, then you need to think about good things. You are smart, Kazeda praised Izuku while having a gaping mouth from such a simple solution. He just needs to think about their friendship, and then he can save Tetsuya. However, there is one big problem. He is afraid that he can't fight him anymore. I can't fight him. I was trying to fight him for months without any success. In addition, my enemy is my childhood friend. I don't think I can defeat him now alone. Izuku Midoriya, I know that we just met, but would you help me to save my friend? He asked while giving him a hand. Before answering, Izuku grabs his hand and makes Four's signature handshake. I will, Midoriya finally answered with confidence. If he couldn't save his own friendship with Bakugou, but at least he can try to save another one. What they didn't notice was that Gentaro was hiding near the doors and heard everything. He could only smirk at his student and his kuhai. They are ready to become true heroes. Four's Zodiarts couldn't catch a break today. After escaping Kamenrider and Sanajiman, he hides himself in the old warehouse. Suddenly, he was attacked by a black-haired man wearing dark blue clothes. In addition, this man is also a master of some kung fu. Who the hell you are? Asked another rider in pain from the strikes. Spy hero, Kamenrider Meteor, Ryusei answered, waving his hand with thumbs up over his face. I will decide your fate. Before the fighting could continue, Izuku, Geiz, and Tsukuyomi with the Space Kamenrider Club came inside. Almost all of them were panting from running so fast. For some reason Kong, Nezumi, and Ruby were carrying some white bundles. Wait, Ryusei, that's my student. Let us talk with him first, Gentaro advised his old friend. Tetsuya, stop it right now, screamed Saburo in worry. Saburo, is that you? Asked another Force in surprise. Tetsuya, please, you need to stop, Kazeda pleaded in a desperate manner. You are hurting people. Whoever gave you that power is just using you. You don't need to do it. I can't stop, another rider bellowed. If I stop now, bullying will continue. Many friendships will be destroyed. All dreams will be stopped. I will protect weak. I will come their defender. I know that your motifs are honest, Saburo admitted. But look around you. You hurt people so much that they are afraid of you. It's not a way for a hero. You don't just act like an aggressor. You become something that you hate, a bully himself. Please let it go. I want my childhood friend back. Saburo Tetsuya mumbled in surprise. At that moment, something inside another rider opened up, and he started to consider it. All this time he thought that he was doing the right thing, but it revealed that he was doing the opposite. People are afraid of him. What he really wants is to bring back his friendship with Kazeda, but it revealed that he wants him back. Before Hoshi could say anything, he was interrupted. Don't listen to him, said Aura, who just entered the warehouse. Nice lady, said For's Zodiarts in surprise. Who is she? One of the bad guys asked Oki in confusion. That's Aura. She is one of the time jackers, Geiz answered with a frown. She is more cunning than Hira. She is also pretty, commented Kong and Nejimi looking at her love-struck. Are you idiots? Asked Ruby deadpan. How could they be in awe in the presence of a female enemy? She will never understand, boys. These people are just lying to you because they are jealous and want power for themselves, Aura explained her truth. Then her tone becomes seductive. They don't deserve your attention, my king. Don't listen to her, Hoshi-san, screamed Izuku in alarm. She is just using you. Don't trust her. So that's how you look like, Zai-O, Time Jacker commented Slurry, batting her eyelashes on him. I must admit in the past you looked cute. Hearing a compliment from her made Izuku blush from embarrassment. It's not every day when a woman gives you a good comment. He didn't even notice that Ochako was quietly glaring at Aura with some strange feeling she couldn't describe. I have no idea what's problem is about, Time Jacker commented with mocking confusion. Before me, this kid was quirkless nobody. And now he becomes another rider. He can do whatever he wants. Whatever he wants or whatever you want, young rider countered back. Why are you even caring about him in the first place, Zai-O? She asked irritated, already losing her patience. You never met him. You don't even know who he is. Why do you think that you know what he wants? You are right, I never met him, but I know him by talking with his friend over there, Midoriya answered, pointing at Kazeta. Hoshi-kun, I know what it feels like when you lose a friendship with an important person. The real reason why you attacked these people is because you want to bring back your friendship by creating a place where bullying would never exist. You thought that this is the only way you can earn forgiveness from Kazeta-kun. But you didn't know one important detail, that Kazeta-kun already forgave you, and he wants to bring your old friendship back. For a second nobody moved, all of them awestruck by Izuku's speech. They couldn't imagine that Midoriya had so much trust in Subiro's feelings about his old friendship. For a moment all people out there saw an image of Izuku changed for a second. All members of Space Kamen Rider Club, even Ryusei, saw Gentaro. Kisaragi himself learned that Sento was right about Midoriya. He definitely has the spirit of a true Kamen Rider. He can't wait to see what future he will create. Geiz and Tsukuyomi saw the silhouette of their old mentor. Once again those two saw that Midoriya is nothing like Oma-Zai-O. And Ochako saw him as the greatest hero and Kamen Rider who ever existed. If she had some doubts before about her choice of the high school, right now the answer is clear. However, one person was really angry at his speech. It was Aura herself. Without thinking, she orders her another rider, kill them all. I am not killing, another Force answered in surprise. He is a little freaking out by the order. He would never kill. What? You dare to argue with me? She screamed in anger. I gave you the power. Without it you would be useless. I gave you a chance to be something, and this is how you pay me back. Decide now, friendship or power. At her outburst, he saw the true colors of this woman. She never was nice, she was just using him. And without any doubts and regrets he answers her. Friendship, he said, much to her shock and happiness of his true friends. Unfortunately, nothing can be so easy. Suddenly, Aura uses purple lightning at another Force, electrocuting him. Aargh, he screamed in pain. He felt like his body is taking apart. What making it worse, he felt that he losing his mind and with it the control over his new form. He doesn't know how long he can endure this torture. Last one. This is a bad choice, she commented emotionlessly. No one dares to betray me. Stop it right now, you bitch, screamed Subiro in panic at seeing such horror. It's hurting him. Let go my student right now, said Gentaro loudly. It was the first time his student saw him angry. No way, Aura simply said, continuing torturing her subject. I still need him to create a new king. Subiro, run, Tetsuya screamed before his mind was absorbed by this dark energy. Then another Force screamed in madness and started to thrash around. Any sense of humanity was deep lost. Seeing such horror made all teens freeze from the cruelty of the time jacker. They couldn't imagine that someone could do something so inhumanity. She will be stopped. Tetsuya was the only thing Subiro could say while clenching his fist hard. The last words of his friend were warning him to run away, and he let him down again. But no anymore. Saburo will save his friend. It's okay, Kazeta-kun. You have nothing to be afraid for. Do you know why? Started Izuku, taking out his Ziku driver. Because in this warehouse gathered 5 heroes the world has ever seen. 4, said Tsukuyomi, gesturing at the injured Geiz. Geiz can't fight him right now. Sorry, he said, griddling his injured arm. It's okay, my buds, reassured them Gentaro. 4 is still more than enough. Ryusei is with you. Yeah, he is Gentaro, Ryusei said, giving him a silver suitcase with a black emblem of the rocket. Kisaragi opens it and almost tears up. It is a light blue driver that has 4 switch slots and red switches on the front with a black rectangle screen in the middle. In addition, it also has a large black handle on the right side. It's a 4's driver. It's his lost friend. Near the belt were letters from all his friends he made in school. All of them wished him good luck and told him that he became a great hero. Guys, thank you, Gentaro said, reading the letters. This one is lava-proofed. Kengo joked around still as a hologram. Everyone, Ikuzi, Kisaragi commanded by putting on his belt. Then he flicked all his switches before slightly crouched position with one arm crossed over his chest. Yeah, said Izuku, Ryusei and Saburo. The former 2 put on their drivers while the latter is standing in transformation pose. Ziku driver. Zai-o. Meteor ready? Asked the meteor driver that it looked like it had a black disco ball in the middle with a gray trigger on top of it and the blue lever on the right, with an astro switch slot on the left. Meanwhile, the students were showing that the white bundle is the big banner with the rocket symbol on his symbol. All of them were cheering for their heroes while preparing for the countdown. 3, 2, 1 counted down both people and 4's driver. Henshin roared 3 riders. Izuku spanked his driver. Ryusei then pushed the lever, making the disco ball spin and glow in bright blue light. Gentaro gripped the black handle and pumped it forwards, before standing tall and stretching his arms out wide. Goriki Shorai, roared Saburo before orange cracks started to form around his body. Then everything around him explodes before Sanajiman appears. Rider timer, Kamenrider Zai-o. The sound of funky disco music and the bright blue light engulfed Ryusei in the big bright meteor sphere with the same color. In the place of Ryusei was covered in the completely black suit that showed deep infinite space. The only thing in different color was his bright blue shoulder guard, silver armband on his left arm, silver knees and bracelet-like device on his right hand that shows images of Saturn, Jupiter and Mars on the buttons. His helmet is silver with an exception of the big blue head in the form of the falling meteor which shows his big bright red eyes. He is a spy hero, Kamenrider Meteor. The sound of space techno music called out as a pair of light circles emerged around his head and feet, encircling him as it formed around Gentaro as a full legendary Kamenrider. His body was a full space white and silver with orange stripes on his sides, a blue X, an orange circle, a black square and a yellow triangle on his legs and arms, overlapped thin silver lengthy arches on his chest and waist, and to finish it a white rocket-shaped helmet with a black face with red eye visor. It's a true friendship hero, Kamenrider Force. Achu, Gentaro crouched down, coiling himself into a ball before he exploded upwards. His students and Izuku were copying him. Kida-ah! The shout reached up towards the sky, going up and up past the stratosphere, and showed the majesty of the blue and green planet floating in space before coming back down to Gentaro and others who were still cheering. Ah. Friendship hero, Kamenrider Force, announced Gentaro while brushing his hand across his helmet like he was slicking his hair back. Then he bumped his hand against his chest twice before he pointed at another Force dramatically. Let's settle this man to man. Spy hero, Kamenrider Meteor, Ryusei said while waving his hand with thumbs up over his face. I will decide your fate. Izuku and Saburo didn't say their catchphrases. The former because he was fanboying and gushing over 2 legendary riders. The latter because he was worried about his powers. He didn't know if they could work now. He could fail his friend now and everything will be his fault. Seeing worry on his face, Izuku comes to him and tries to reassure him. You can do this, Kazeta-kun, he said to him. You are strong, and Hoshi-kun needs you. Just think about your friendship, and you will have more than enough power to save him. At such a speech, Saburo could only nod, his confidence restored. He can do it. He will save Tetsuya from his prison. Suddenly, he felt warmness inside of him. He looks down and sees a big yellow glowing orb on his chest. This is it. It's back. His power is back. Inazuman is back for an action. Midoriya, thank you for everything. Kazeta thanked his new friend, feeling the light covering his entire body. He is almost ready. Gentaro could only smile at it. This new rider is amazing. He wanted to save a person he didn't even meet before today. He also brings back confidence to his students. This Zio kid is already a hero. No, he truly understood why Sento talked so highly about Izuku. He is truly Kamen Rider. You are an amazing kid, he said before throwing Izuku 4's ride watch. Use this to stop him. 4's ride watch? Izuku asked himself in shock before realization hit him. Wait, does that mean that you? Yes, I and Rusei will not fight you, 4 said, shocking everyone, even Meteor and Kengo. You two are more than enough for this guy. But we need you. You are the true hero here, Zio argued back. He always dreamt to fight side by side with his senpais. In addition, Kisaragi senpai is the only one who is stronger than anyone in this warehouse. I am sorry Zio, but I am not only your senpai. I am also a teacher of hero studies, Gentaro seriously answered. And the work of every teacher is to guide their students to the future. And how can you become heroes if I would always fight for you? Now show all of us new generation of heroes. Receiving a permission to use his powers, he turns the face dial to show Kamen Rider 4's full mask and presses the button. 4's. He then slid the ride watch into his belt and felt the big power emanate from it. He then pressed a top button on the belt. The most difficult thing was to think of the new phrase. After thinking, he realized that Legend Henshin is too cringing, even for him. That's why he thought of the alternative one. Rider Henshin. With this shout, he spins the belt. Rider time. Kamen Rider Zio. Just like with build armor, Zio's visor disappeared. The letters Rider in katakana just ejected itself from there, leaving nothing. Behind Izuku, a large, transparent Astra switch appeared. Inside of it is human-sized, white and orange rocket-like armor that made 4's signature pose before it transforms into a literal rocket and blasts in the air. Armor time. Koriki Shorai. At the same time screamed the Sanajiman before the yellow lightning covered him completely, making him to disappear in an explosion in the form of bright butterfly wings with thunder. In his place stands a new figure. He is a bright blue butterfly-like figure. He has black boots with black gloves and yellow points and lines across his entire body. His head became also blue with white irises and 2 red antennae. He truly transformed into Inazuman. Suddenly, the orange rocket flew straight at Zio at full speed, much to the fear of the young Kamen Rider. At the last moment, the rocket separated itself before it attached to his body. 3, 2, 1, 4's. Izuku's shins had become protected by the rocket's thrusters with the black cones and the orange-tipped fins facing outwards. Orange streaks went up the side of his body as 2 large rockets appeared over his hands and covered up to his elbows. His chest had a gray and pink marked, white chest piece with a modified orange X on the center with 2 large wings on his shoulders. And finally, his helmet was now in the shape of a rocket with the pink katakana on his visor reading 4's. Students of New Amanagawa were surprised by the armor that looked like their teacher's rider form. They knew that Kamen Riders used the different forms to boost their power. But to hear about Rider who can use the power of other riders sounded incredible. Gentaro could only chuckle to see this 4's form is looking like a literal rocket. Suddenly their thoughts were interrupted by the loud shout. Iwi, Waz proclaimed with his book, startling them. He is heir to all Kamen Riders, the king of time who travels beyond time and space to rule over the past and the future. His name is Kamen Rider Zio Forzumer, and in this moment, he has once again received the power of another Kamen Rider, the power of space and friendship. Now watch as he takes his ascension past the stratosphere and through the entire universe. Waz, where have you been? Screamed Geiz and Tsukuyomi in anger, while the others, except for Ochako, looked dumbfounded at the unexpected speech and appearance of this man. I was very busy with something important, he simply answered with a shrug, not caring that 2 of his former friends were ready to kill him. What it was? Asked Ochako in confusion. Waz merely remembered what happened minutes ago. Flashback. I am almost done. Waz painted and almost finished his masterpiece. It was a big painting that was described as medieval. On it was izukumidoriya with a confident face, wearing the king's clothes, holding a big sword, signaling the troops in the background to march forward. Ochako was with him, wearing revealing royal clothes, hugging him lovingly. Geiz and Tsukuyomi were wearing the general armor with large regally looking axes and lady-in-waiting clothes respectively. And Waz was standing nearby looking like the king's personal scriber and advisor, holding the feather and the book. It is a beautiful painting despite the painter overdid his job. However, Waz got a feeling that he missed something. He doesn't know what exactly. Suddenly, he felt some disturbance in the air. It means one thing. His king inherited the new power and he needs him. Looks like his rock bust with the head of Zio must wait for the next time. End of flashback. I am afraid it's a surprise. He simply stated, not caring that he made his situation worse. So this is how kamenrider looks like, commented Inazuman, not showing his shock at Waz's appearance. Izuku simply nodded and continued to walk to another fours. However, before they could continue, original fours decided to give them one piece of wisdom. Wait, Zio, before you start you need to learn something important first, he said seriously. He then makes his main pose, crouching, coiling, and exploding. First of all, you need to collect all this youthful around you. Keep it into yourself to boil it. Finally, you need to unleash it so loud that the entire space can hear you. For anyone it would be completely nonsense, but being a rider fan, he learnt what exactly he needs to do. Collect, keep, and unleash, Izuku thought to himself, copying the moves of his senpai. Achu! He started crouching and coiling himself into a ball before he exploded and surprisingly loudly shouted, "Kita!" The shout reached up towards the sky, going up and up past the stratosphere, and even farther showed the majesty of not only Earth, but also 7 other planets floating around the sun in space before coming back down to Izuku, who was still shouting, "Ah!" Kamenrider Zio for Zirmer. He finished his shout before bumped his rocket hand against his chest twice before pointing at another force, dramatically imitating his senpai. With this power bestowed upon me, I will forge a path to a better future. Warrior of Freedom, Inazuman, announced Saburo, standing in battle pose along with Izuku. Let's settle this man to man. Now this is how a real hero looks, Zio commented while watching Inazuman for the first time. Do you really think that space heard me? I would be surprised if they didn't hear you, Inazuman joked around before their expression became serious. With the lost nod to each other, they run towards another fours. Wow 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 fours. Wow 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 IQZ. Wow 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 fours. Wow 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 oh yeah. Stamper on. Giant foot on. Creating the big metal and rusty giant boot on his right leg and big stamp machine on the left leg. He shoots at them energy stamps and holographic foots at them, making an explosion. Hi, school Kara Hausachu. Burger cat ate hungry na everyday. However, he was surprised when his opponents flew over the explosion. Zio was using his rocket arms while Inazuman used his butterfly wings on his back. I can't believe it. I am flying, screamed Izuku in happiness while Saburo flew to attack another force. Psychokinetic chop. He enhances his knife hand blows with his powers, deeply hurting another rider. Chest. Madamada Teranai moi large size. Come on, switch on. Another fours then snarls and creates new modules on his body. Launcher on. Gatling on. Fire on. Radar on. Using his radar on his left, he sent rocket missiles, bullets from Gatling and fireballs to kamenrider, making him constantly dodge them with his rockets. Then Zio crashes through the roof and sends his 2 rocket arms. Rider rocket missiles. He announced his attack as 2 rockets destroyed all enemies' ammunition. Retro Future Sana no Watsukayu. Mitsuki Image Murray he blast off. Then he flies back to the warehouse, catching his enemy outguard and sends him a rocket punch. Literally. Rider rocket smash. Kushiki nanka imiganai. Hito no hanashi dake deshitakai nai naranaiti. Kaken nai tough nai challenge. Getting up, another force activates his powers to counterattack his enemies. Elekon. He sends out the large thunderbolt at the heroes, cracking the earth on the way. Fortunately, Inazuman flies on the way and puts his hand on the ground. Oki smiled, remembering the move and what it can do. Reversal chest, he screamed before suddenly the lightning stopped and the attack came back to the user, causing another rider to crash through the doors to the outside. Genkainet bakugou jibun no tide. Wow, switch on. We are almost done with him, Inazuman commented, looking that his old friend almost can't stand straight. We need to take him away from the school, or else the explosion will attract many pro-heroes here, Zio said in alarm. The last thing they need is pro-hero here. Do you have any plans? Butterfly Mutant asked in concern. I have one, but you need to send him flying, kamenrider announced, confusing his friend. I will end this fight how Kisaragi-sensei would. In space. Don't worry, I will not hurt him so much. With a nod of understanding, Inazuman and another Force swapped punches with each other. And despite the speed of the latter, his strikes weren't so effective because they were performed by the mindless, inexperienced beast. Inazuman, while giving the strong punches, was thinking about his friend and how much he wants to save him, and how he wouldn't let anyone down. No longer will he be incapable. He will become a hero that everyone will respect and trust. Feeling himself with a new power boost, Saburo decides to perform a new move. Rocket on. With the double shout, both opponents used their strongest punches. The orange rocket met lightning first. For the moment, both forces were equal, before the latter's power overwhelmed the former and destroyed the rocket construct. Thunder upper, he screamed while giving another rider uppercut, sending him flying high. Chest. Seeing another Force in the air, Zio uses his armor to transform into the man-size rocket. Then he takes off from the ground and rams into another rider, much to the shock of everyone. Kinuyori step up. Go win, my friends. Don't worry, Hoshi-kun, everyone will be over soon, Izuku said before he flew further and faster than before. Now space, here we come. Soon they find themselves in the middle of space. Any other day Midoriya would appreciate the beauty of his planet, but it will be done another time. He has a victim to save. He pushes the buttons on both ride watches. Finish time, Force. Maybe I can't bring back the past you take from others, but I can give them a future without you in it. Zio finally said while pushing one final button on his driver and spinning it. Limit time break. He then flew around before using his rocket arms and began to spin around in corkscrew motion before it became a rocket-powered drill. Rider tailspin space smasher, Zio screamed before he thrust his attack through another rider. The kick caused an explosion, which destroyed the another watch inside the monster and freed the person from its parasitic control. Before Tetsuya could lose his breath, Izuku quickly grabs him and descends him back to the earth. Take Iken dat Toposhite. Wow, switch on. He sends him gently unconscious. He then turns around and sees Inazuman. Both of the young heroes in training came to each other and looked at each other. Tabadachi no countdown. Tamaranai growing Chu Shijukaiki school days. Then suddenly both of them doing the Four's legendary handshake of friendship. Finally making each other good friends forever. Wow, Fours. Wow, Ikuzi. Wow, Fours. Wow, Fours, yeah. Then they turn around and see all their friends cheering at them loudly. But no one smiled bigger than Gentaro, who was beamed at the accomplishment of his student and his kuhai. He never felt so proud in his life. You saw it, Kengo, Rusei, he said to his old friends while watching his two teenagers dehenshin. This is the power of the current generation. This is the future of the hero society. After he single-handedly defeated his disgusting enemy, Waz wrote down his version of the battle. He descended to us like the war angel he is. He shows his true magnificence to simple mortals before. Unfortunately, he was suddenly interrupted by something more disgusting. Blarg. They were seen as very green and sickly. Izuku after the battle vomited his entire breakfast from flying and spinning in outer space. Saburo didn't have luck either, because after he undoes his form he burns his clothes, leaving him completely naked in the eyes of his friends. Girls instinctively cover their eyes, while the boys use banners as makeshift blankets to cover Kazuda. Yeah, I am seeing it, Kisaragi, and I am afraid to live in that future, commented Kengo in disgust. But Gentaro didn't listen to him. He just walked to Izuku and simply gave him a brown paper bag, while Ochako patted him on the back in worry. Before he threw up, Ruby continued Waz's records. Before Kamenrider 4's appeared and expressed his gratitude and admiration towards our overlord of time and space, Waz continued to record. This is how Zio recruited Kamenrider 4's as one of his heralds. With such news, the group went back to New Amanagawa. Space Kamenrider Clubhouse. 15 minutes later, the gang brought back the heroes and unconscious Tetsuya back to the school. The victim was lying on the couch with a wet blanket on his head. Saburo received a new pair of clothes. However, Izuku still felt sick. His head continued to spin and his face was the same color as his hair. He is sitting in the chair looking at the pink pill he received from Kisaragi. "You think that should work, Gentaro-senpai?" Midoriya asked in confusion. "I am more than sure. I am very confident in that. It was developed in the Space Center by my best bud, Kengo himself," Gentaro boasted with a smirk. "If you don't believe me, ask Uraraka. She eats them to train her quirk. My quirk is zero gravity. I can nullify the gravity things by simply touching them. But there are downsides. If I use it too long, I could get sick to the point I can vomit. Just like you did it," Ochako explained in embarrassment. "So I am feeling your pain. Kisaragi-sensei was giving me these pills to keep my lunch in my stomach and my head from falling." "I see. You are strong," he complimented her before eating the pill himself. Instantly he felt better. "I feel that I am ready to die. But you experience this every day. I can't imagine how you can endure it. You are amazing." At hearing such praises, Ochako blushed red. Nobody told her that she is strong by constantly holding her guts. It was pretty sweet. Gentaro was looking at the teenagers in nostalgia, reminding himself about his youthful romance. Is this how me and Nachiko looked like when we were teens? Their thoughts were interrupted by the loud Chuda Ashigi, who was snapping his suspenders repeatedly. "This is the best day in New Amanagawa," he cheered while hugging Izuku, Ochako, and Saburo. "With Kamenrider, Inazuman, and Uraraka as our new students in the hero course, we will upstage you. Easily." "Wait, what?" Izuku Asked screamed in shock and bewilderment, breaking from the hug. "I am not planning to enter New Amanagawa High School. I wanted to go to you. And I want to go to you. Too," added Ochako. "What? Why not?" asked the entire club. "I thought that you two are fans of Kamen Riders," commented Oki in surprise. "Anyone would be proud to be taught by a legendary hero." "There is nothing wrong with your school," he said in alarm. "It's just my wish not to become just a hero, but one hero. The only way to do it, I need to learn from the best. And you, is the kind of school I want to be. But I must admit that the Amanagawa and Kamen Rider Club are the best places I have ever been. It's the first time I found a place where quirkless and quirked people are equal, where there aren't any differences. If I learned that such a place exists, I would go to your school immediately. It is a pity that I have an entrance exam next month and I can't quit my current school." Uraraka could only nod in agreement about what she was thinking about the Space Kamen Rider Club. She didn't want to leave her school and her friends, but her dream is far too important for her. She can't go back. "It's okay, you two," said Gentaro, hugging the duo from behind. "You two do nothing wrong. Both of you had your own ways. You can decide which one to choose. We can't make your paths for you. But I want you to remember an important lesson that the original Kamen Rider Club learnt back in our days. That despite our differences, our choices and distance, we will always be together for each other. Don't you ever forget your friends that you made in here, the adventure that all of you shared, and most importantly, the spirit of Amanagawa." Once again, Kisaragi made everyone look at him in awe. From the moment they met him, he always made people feel inspired. He maybe looks like a too cheerful and careless man, but he had much more wisdom deep inside. This man truly deserves the title of hero. "You are wrong," said Saburo, looking very displeased. "You told us that you want to become the new N1 hero, but you are wrong in one thing. Next number one will be me. I become a hero who would prove that mutant type and transformation type quirked users are not monsters. I will become the hero that will prove to the world that monsters are not those who look different, but those who do horrible things." "Thanks, Saburo-kun," said Izuku with a smile before doing the signature handshake again. But my #1 hero will be me, and I will create a world where Kamen riders will be acknowledged and respected by society as true heroes of justice. And I will use their power to show the world who they are. You can dream, alright, Kazuta commented. Remember one thing. Today you gained the power of Kisaragi-sensei. Use it and don't you dare to disgrace his name. Don't you dare to lose to some wannabe hero or wannabe villain. I will wait for you on the top of the world for the fight for the name #1. Don't worry, I will never lose, Midoriya answered with determination. That's awesome. Friendship and rivalry are the good qualities, cheered Gentaro. Now all together, Minade. Achoo. Kida! Screamed the entire classroom so loud that the entire galaxy could hear them. Friendship can truly unite the entire universe. 5 minutes earlier. Geiz was thinking about today. It is supposed to be a good one. They met legendary rider, defeated another rider, and gained new ride watch. Everything is as happy as they suppose it to be. Except one big problem. Zio, or at least his younger version. Each day he proves to Geiz that Izuku is much different than his future self. He trains himself to be a better self. He fights to protect those who can't protect themselves. And today he risked his life to free a person who he had never met before. In the rebellion he will gain the respect of every member. Unfortunately, despite his achievements and victories, Myakoin's mission didn't change. To save his own future he needs to kill Midoriya or his time is doomed. But he no longer wants to believe that. He wants to talk with someone about his problem. But with who? Hello, kid, greeted Sakura who just entered the room. He then notices the expression on his face and imagines that Geiz having some struggle. What's wrong? You can tell me. I am your senpai and met many different situations that anyone would guess as crazy. Spit it out. Seeing nothing else to do, Myakoin shrugged his shoulders and decided to tell him everything. It's not like everything could become worse. Do you want the short version? Future Rider asked. Sakura nodded his head. In the short version, if everyone was telling you that to save the world from the evil tyrant you need to go in the past and kill his young version, would you kill him? And don't forget the fact that with each day you start to respect him and you no longer want to kill him. But you can't abort your mission only for your sake while others suffer. What would you do? Okay, I admit that I didn't expect such a problem, the legendary writer only said. But I think I can help you with explaining the killing matter. I became Kamen Rider to save my friend from a coma. One day I made a deal with the devil. He said that he will wake my friend up if I kill Gentaro. And I did it, the devil made his part of the deal. However, neither the Kamen Rider Club nor myself didn't forgive me for my crime. The guilt and sorrow almost killed me. At that moment I finally opened my eyes and understood what I had done. I killed the person who was only showing me kindness and friendship. Then I went to suicide mission to save other members of the club. Then a miracle happened. Gentaro came back from the dead by Kengo. And you can't believe what he did next. He forgave me. He forgave the person who murdered him. And he gave me the second chance. After that I promised myself that I will fight for the sake to protect people. And then my life becomes better. What I want to say is, it's not easy to kill. In every murder there's always guilt. And with each moment it will become bigger before it devours you completely. I don't want such suffering for anyone. If you kill your dictator friend you will never forget it and will always blame yourself for what you did. This is why I am advising you to find a new way to save the world. For your sake. With these words, he left Geiz alone. Hearing such a speech made it really more confusing than before. Who knew that murder could be so difficult and exhausted? He doesn't know what to do anymore. After the little party at the club, our heroes with Ochako left the school. And all of them were pretty happy. Thank you for agreeing to drop me to my house, Ochako said with a blush. It's just I missed my train today, taxi is too expensive for me. Don't worry, that's what friends do for each other, Izuku reassured her, nervously scratching his head. He then noticed that Geiz became distant and quiet. He has always been like this. But it's different now. Is something wrong, Geiz-kun? You didn't say the word after our victory against another force. It's okay. I just wanted to apologize for what I say this morning. I am sorry, Geiz said, surprising everyone. Did he just apologize? I wasn't fair to you today. My hate for Omazayo sometimes can cover my mind. I misjudged you. Don't think I will forget my mission. I still need to kill you. But before the moment when you try to become overlord, I will see you as you. Because you two are different for now. In his words, Tsukuyomi could only smile at Geiz's maturity. He will no longer see Izuku as an enemy. Maybe someday he will acknowledge Midoriya as a friend. Baby steps may be slow but effective. It's okay, Geiz-kun. I already forgave you for it, Midoriya said, making everyone look at him in disbelief with dropping jaws. I am a serious guy. You have any right to distrust me. I would do the same thing if I was in your shoes. I need to deserve your friendship and your trust, and I will do so. In addition, Jintaro-senpai told me that he made friendship with most stubborn people who he ever met. Like Kengo-san or Ryusei-senpai. After hearing him, I think I can make friends with anyone. Even with my grandpa? Asked Tsukuyomi in intrigue. At the mention of his childhood friend, Yuku froze up and looked like he was ready for death, then shook his head and answered, maybe, if he wouldn't try to kill me first. In any case, Kaken is stubborn, but I am more stubborn, and I am not gonna give up. Not on my dream, not on him. Unknown location. And this is how Wagamau once again came victorious, Waz said like a narrator. He not only earned himself a new power with another herald for his kingdom, but gained an unexpected new rival in the face of a young hero. In addition, he gained the respect of his companions. However, he needs everything he learnt from such a short time. 1 month later. Because soon he will face his first and true challenge. Izuku, Geiz, and Tsukuyomi stand near the big gates, much bigger than Amanagawa. All of them were standing with confidence and determination. Inside the gates waits adventures, danger, friendship. On the top of the gates was a blue symbol which consists of the letters U.A. Musutafu City. Millions of people are walking around the city without any care in the world. They are living in the age of peace, where every citizen lives under the protection of allmight. They can live without any worries or dangers about their lives. They can simply enjoy their lives. However, what they don't know is that in the middle of this city 2 people were planning to meet up. Suddenly everything stopped, nothing moved. It meant only one thing. Time was stopped again by someone more powerful than all of them combined. Looks like your another fours couldn't defeat Zio either, commented Hura gleefully at his colleague's recent fail. I underestimate him because of his young age. It was my mistake, Aura admitted with shame. Unfortunately, that made the younger time Jacker laugh louder. With irritation, she adds something else. At least mine another rider lasted more than 1 week. At such a painful and embarrassing reminder, he wanted to give her a piece of his mind. However, before Hura could say a word, both of them felt some kind of wave pass through them and freeze them just like others. But the only difference was while they couldn't move their bodies, they still could hear and see things around them. That state freaked them out. There was only one person who possessed such ability to time freeze even them. They heard some steps and slowly turned their heads to the source. It was revealed to be a man in his 40s, with slicked back black hair, with dark green eyes. He is wearing a long purple and black rope with silver rings piercing the bottom of the robe, a purple right-hand sweatband, a black popped collar and left-hand shoulder cover with a black exposed sleeve with a clasp. His name is Swartz. He is the leader of Time Jackers. His power and quirk of control of time manipulation is greater than his underlings. Contrary his calm demeanor, you could sense his hidden sinister nature. It was so high that both Hura and Aura were scared of him. Well, what do I see here? Swartz asked nonchalantly while stealing a chocolate bar from some frozen citizens. Both of my colleagues are arguing with each other instead of doing their job. I am very disappointed. We did create another riders before, Hura pointed out angrily. And I saw the results, the older man answered sarcastically. Both of you failed miserably. It's not our fault. This young version of Omazayo is much stronger than we thought earlier, Aura tried to explain the reason. It was because your chosen hosts for another riders were very wrong, Swartz added, making 2 of them look at him in surprise. He captures their full attention. This is good. Like I told you before, another rider should be the total opposite of the original Kamen rider. But your choice leaves much better to be desired. I mean seriously who you chose. Bully's spineless and stupid crony, or quirkless lonelier who wanted to punish some bullies and bring back his friendship. All of them don't have a true potential to become a new king of time. That was the reason why young Zio defeated them so easily. Both of the time jackers were shocked by that simple answer. Now it made sense how they lost. They just chose the wrong hosts. Their next ones will destroy young kamenrider and his friends. However, it left one question behind. What were you doing all this time? Hira asked, not to show himself surprised or spooked. However, he was gagged by the chocolate bar that the older time jacker put into the younger one's mouth. Unlike you two, I will not choose a simple and easy target, Swartz answered while pulling out another watch. I will find a new host carefully. The stronger the user is, the stronger another rider is, and the results would be different. Did you find someone already? Aura asked in interest. Indeed, I found someone. Much stronger than yours, he answered with his sinister and crafty smile making chills on the younger time jackers' backs. He then takes out a second blank another watch. And I must say they will surprise you. With a light chuckle he left them behind. Then time started to move forward, unfreezing two time jackers and many people. No one of them didn't notice that they were frozen in the first place. Unfortunately, evil duo from the future was still shaken by their leader's words. One thing that always scared them is the fact that Swartz was stronger than both of them and he could easily freeze them and take them out. And the second thing that terrified them is his sinister nature. One thing for sure, no one of them wanted to get on Swartz's bad side, let alone to become his enemy. They even pitied young Oma Zio if he ever decided to fight their leader. Opening sequence. UA. High school gates. They are here. UA. High School's Hero Course. A training school for those whose goal is to acquire the necessary qualifications needed for pro heroes. Among similar courses across the country, theirs is the most popular and most competitive, and their acceptance rate is less than 1 in 300 every year. Despite the fact that there are schools that would easily agree to teach kamenrider as their new student, such as Amanagawa. There were a couple of reasons why he chose this school. The hero who refused a national honor award, the #1 hero, Allmight. The hero who resolved the most incidents in history, the fiery hero, Endeavor. The winner of the denim-clad award-winning Marvel Award 8 years in a row, Best Jeanist. Graduating from UA is a requirement for becoming a great hero. That was the main reason Izuku chose the UA entrance exam, and this will be his first step toward his dream of becoming a hero and kamenrider. He just can't wait. Here it is. UA. Izuku started nervously. He can't believe what he is planning to do. In real life, it is even bigger than on TV. What do you say? Yeah, it's big indeed, Geiz said worriedly. It put both time travelers on the edge. They do know about UA and what it was in the past. But what could they say to him about its current state in 1968? What exactly Oma Zio have done to this legendary and great place? It will devastate him completely. You are right. It's big, colorful, and full of life, Tsukuyomi added awkwardly. She doesn't know how to explain what would happen to UA either. It's completely different compared to the one in 2068. I don't think I want to know what happened to this place, Izuku gulped in fear. For some reason he thought that everything that happened to UA was his fault, or the fault of his future self. Fortunately for the future duo, they were interrupted by the familiar and angry shout. Deku and Extra, what did you two forget here? Asked enraged Katsuki in disbelief and shock. That was the thing that changed between their relationship altogether. After the attack of Sludge Villain and first appearance of kamenrider Zio, Bakugou started to avoid Izuku and his friends. He was still glared at them and snarled at them, but anything more than that he simply ignored them. He also openly declared that he hates the new kamenrider that saved him. Or how Blonde explained, this damn kamenrider simply humiliated me before I could take down this damn villain myself. He didn't like kamenriders before, but he completely despises Zio. Even when Takumi started to tell his story about how he met kamenrider and how he was saved by him, Katsuki only scoffed in annoyance and blew his crony up. That made Izuku hide his secret identity from him. We are here to take exam, Geiz answered in disappointment at this younger version of his mentor. Midoriya wants to become a hero, that's why he chose this school. And I have my own objective that can be done only if I go to that school either. Looks like Deku is not only a quirkless idiot. You are also an idiot, Katsuki grunted in annoyance. Whatever. Both of you will be crushed by the exam anyway. Just stand out of my way or you will both die. With these insults and warnings, he left the group alone. All of them let out a tired sigh. All of them knew him and were ashamed of his attitude. Especially Geiz and Tsukuyomi. Both of them were parented and trained by him. They saw him as a father. But now they see only the loud brat that needs himself to learn some manners and morals. But they don't have time to teach him. They have an important mission to do. What a rude guy, Ochako commented, startling the group. Hi guys. How is your day? It was good before we met him, Tsukuyomi explained in disdain. Oh, I get it. Looks like all of you have some history with this guy, Brunette deduced with a sweat drop. You can say something like this, Geiz explained with a sigh. Zio knew who he was before and we know who he will become. But we don't like this current version of him. Izuku could only look down in shame at his childhood friend's actions. When did he become so wild and egocentric? Oh, that's so deep, Uraraka simply commented in shock. Also, Space Kamenrider Club had an entrance exam 2 days ago. Izuku-kun, Kazeta-kun and others wish you good luck. The mention of his Amanagawa rival made Izuku smile a little. It was nice to have friends who care about you. He really hopes that Saburo will pass his exam. He really deserves to be a hero. Oh, nice meeting before the start of exam. A cheerful voice started from the background. The group turns around and expects to see Waz. But they were surprised when they saw happy Sento with a sleepy Banjo. It can be very useful to work as a team and think of the strategy. Unfortunately, all of you will be splits by sectors. Kuryu-sen, Banjo-san, what are you two doing here? Ochako asked in surprise. We are working here, duh, Ryuga answered dumbly. All teens face palm from forgetting such obvious facts. Forgetting about Kinikubaka for a moment, Sento commented, pushing his partner aside. How do you feel? Are you nervous? Are you afraid that you would fail? Are you afraid that you will die on the exam? You have no idea, Sento-senpai, Midoriya answered, scratching his head. I am shaking from excitement and fear at the same time. I don't know if I could win or fail. I am a wreck. It's okay, kid. You already have powers of me and Gentaro, Kuryu reassured him with a smile, putting a hand on his shoulder. You already got the victory under the belt. At that moment, Izuku remembered an important question he wanted to ask Sento. It was a matter that regards him, ride watches, and more importantly Geiz. He wanted to ask, can he share his watches with Geiz? He felt that it wasn't fair that he used the powers of his Kamen Rider senpais and Myosin wasn't. Geiz deserves much better. He is his partner after all, not a sidekick. Sento-senpai, can I ask you an important question? Izuku finally asked. It's time to explain everything. Sure. Shoot me, Kuryu answered with a smile. Can Geiz-kun use build ride watch? A young rider asked his question, shocking all of them around. Did he just ask permission to share his powers with his friend? He then takes out his watch and continues, I mean both me and Geiz have Zeku drivers and both of us are using ride watches for Henshin. It means that he can use your ride watch too. It's just I gained new powers to fight against time jackers and other riders. But Geiz didn't gain anything and it's just not fair. He is my partner and deserves recognition too. That's why I am asking you, can you give him a permission to use your power? Midoriya's friends were dumbfounded by his proposal. He just agreed to share his powers with a person who swore to kill him. It sounded so incredible that it was stupid. Who will give your powers away to another person while he would be becoming weaker? It was very surprising. Any person would keep power for himself only to accomplish their goals. But Izuku, quirkless teenager, who is supposed to be all-powerful and evil overlord of Apocalypse, just offered to Geiz to share his build ride watch. It's simply unbelievable. Geiz is the one who is surprised the most. He couldn't believe what just happened. Izuku wants to give him his ride watch. He wants to give a person who wishes him dead a part of his power. All his life he thought that Omazai-o is a power-hungry megalomaniac who prioritizes only power. But to hear that the younger version of his most hated person just decided to offer his power to him sounded fantastic. Omazai-o would never sacrifice his strength, but Izuku did it. One more good thing to distinguish Midoriya from the Demon King. Geiz would accept the power without any questions. But there is one problem. Kid, I told you already, this is not my power. My powers are over here, Sento said with a smile, showing him his build driver. This is your power. It belongs to you now. It's you who need to decide. If you really trust your partner with such power, give it away or leave for yourself. Your choice. I understood you, Sento-senpai. Izuku bowed to him enthusiastically before turning around to face his friend. He then shows him a build ride watch. Here, Geiz-kun, take it. I want you to use it. Why do you want to give me one of your powers? Asked Geiz carefully. Despite the trust he has in Midoriya after the last battles, he still thinks that something is wrong, and he needs to know it. We don't know what we would fight against. It would be stupid to weaken yourself only to give your opponent a little chance. Also, if I fail, then it means that you will be free from me, at least during your school time. Geiz, stop it. It's rude even for you. Tsukuyomi chided in anger at her friend's attitude. Midoriya-san wants to help you and you. Tsukuyomi said it's okay. Midoriya interrupted her before she could do something drastic. He is right at some point. The truth is I want to learn in the U.A. with you. I want for you to succeed too. You see, I never had friends who would support me after everyone learned that I was quirkless. Sure, I still had my mother and then Minami-sensei, but it wasn't enough. Then I met you, Tsukuyomi-san, Waz-kun and Uraraka-san, and my life never were the same. Literally. I found a way to achieve my dream, but I also gained something I long lost. Friends. That's why I want you to pass the exam too, so that both of us will study there, and maybe you could find something that you like, instead of only waiting for a moment when you can kill me and save your future. A chance for a dream. Here, take it, please. This is the power of legendary Kamen Rider. You deserve that power. Because you are not my sidekick, but my equal. You were fighting all your life, and now let me help you. Geiz once again was surprised by Izuku's honesty and kindness. He gives him his power only to give him a better chance despite the fact that he would become weaker. Sacrifices are admirable. Painful but admirable. Any other day he would grab it. But he needs to explain to them his little secret. I don't need gifts from you, Myacoin answered, much to the disbelief of the group. Girls even glared at him. Easy, you too. I had good reasons for that. First of all, I am confident in my abilities and experience. I believe I can pass the exam using my own powers. In addition, he then takes his right hand that surprised all of them. It was a ride watch. But it wasn't based on any familiar main Kamen Riders. It had a blue-based and black faceplate with an icon of a falling comet or meteorite on the plate, and the number 2011, which is its year, was at the bottom. Without a doubt, it is Meteor Ride Watch. But how did Geiz fund it in the first place? Who said I don't have the powers of legendary riders? The future duo asked smugly at the astonished faces of his friends. Where? How? When? Teenagers asked frantically in shock. It was after we came back to Aminagawa from our victory against another Fours, Geiz started with a smirk. When you were talking with Fours, I had a meeting with Meteor. I am curious. Say if that thing could copy the powers of Gentaro, maybe they could copy my powers too, asked Rusei in some thought. I don't know. We didn't try to do it with Build's riders before, Geiz answered surprisingly. They never knew how Ride Watch would react with other secondary riders, or even with some pros and normal people. Myacoin wasn't a scientist, but the thought about having an upper hand over Zio was desirable. But I think we should try. It will be worth the effort anyway. Without any words, young rider gave his senpai a blank Ride Watch. Then they were waiting for something. And finally, Ride Watch changed its shape, making it complete. Meteor. Both secondary riders looked at each other in disbelief. They did it. The experiment worked. And then he gave it to me. Geiz finished his tale with a smile. He said that I would need his powers more if I would against my enemies. However, their thoughts were in another matter. The possibility to create a new ride watch from others' riders blew up their minds either, especially Izuku's. Does that mean we can create new ride watches from every Kamen rider in existence? he mumbled aloud, freaking his friends out. Does that mean we don't need the presence of another rider for blank watch to work? And can we create ride watch from heroes and villains? Or they would be called hero watches and villain watches. Does it mean if I put blank watch on the person or some rider gear, I would receive their powers? And how is the copying process working? And would people agree that we are using their powers without their permission? Or their will could block them and we couldn't henshin at all? Midoriya could talk or mumble in weeks. That's why Sento decided to point out obvious facts. This is the best, Build said with a smile, snapping out Izuku from his zone. We actually came here because Banju wanted to tell you awesome news. We are? Ryuga asked dumbly. Which news? I don't think I can remember it. This is the worst, the scientist moaned in annoyance. Are you serious? We were talking about it this morning. You of all people deduced this ability first. And now you can't remember it. At the whining of his partner, Banjo started to think hard to remember what exactly he wanted to talk about with his Kuhai riders. He thinks carefully but slowly. Very slowly. 1 minute. 2. 3. 5. 10. 15. 20. I remember, Cross Z cheered with a laugh, making others sigh in relief. They are almost late to the beginning ceremony. Misora is always putting Sento's stuff around his lab. We didn't even notice where they came from or where they were before. In 2 words, I did it. Behold. He shows them a new ride watch, much to the shock of everyone. It had a blue-based and orange faceplate with an icon of a blue dragon carving, and the number 2017, which is its year, was at the bottom. Without a doubt, it is ride watch based on him. Cross Z ride watch. The group was once again dumbfounded by the new revelations. What surprises awaits them next? Neat, isn't it? Cross Z asked rhetorically. Do you want to know how I get this thing? Well, it was a not so long time ago. I was eating after my workout. At his words, a strange view appeared showing them the past events. However, they were stopped the moment they started. He accidentally sat on one of those things you left for me to study, Sento interrupted in annoyance, slapping flashback away. You already took enough time from kids. I am not letting them miss the exam because of you. Also, we learnt about this phenomenon a month after your first and last visit. Sorry for not contacting you sooner. But I hope that this will cover it. Kuryu finished his story by giving Geiz his new ride watch. However, there was something important they need to learn before the start. Tsukayomi-chan, are you sure that you don't want to take the hero course? Ochako asked in confusion. I mean, with your quirk, you could become a great hero by your own. I am sure, Ochako-san, Alpina firmly answered. You see, despite my quirk, I have no wish to be a hero. I was a tactician, planner, or a scout back in the resistance. I am not a fighter. These 2 are more than enough. In addition, if I use my quirk in public, my gramps could recognize it as its own, and I don't need those problems. I understood. Uraraka nodded in realization. Wait, you have grandpa at this time? Wait, does that mean he is in here too? He is currently a student here? You will be studying with your own grandpa? Do I know him? At such rapid questions, the crowd was surprised by such curiosity. However, the last one made the trio cringe. How are they supposed to explain that? You saw him already, Geiz answered uncomfortably. That angry blonde is her grandpa. Eh? The only thing the brunette could while freezing in shock. The next thing that happened was that the trio tried to wake her up before carrying her to the building. They hope that they are not too late. Auditorium. When they finally snapped Ochako out from her stupor, they found their place in a colossal auditorium. Good news, they are not late. Bad news, they are sitting right next to Katsuki Bakugou. Fortunately, the blonde doesn't seem to comment on their sudden arrival. And then all of them wait for the arrival of the announcer or explanation of the entrance exam. But so far there was no one who could explain the rules. Suddenly one man appeared, in a strange way. He appeared by sliding on his knees like a rock star. He even looks like. He is a 30-years-old tall, slim man with long blonde hair, which he wears spiked upwards in a huge tuft behind his head, and a small, brown mustache. He has rectangular eyes with concentric greenish-yellow pupils, and he is almost always seen with a large smile on his face. His hero costume consists of a black jacket with a very tall collar, upturned and complete with studs, and matching black pants and knee-high boots. He sports tan shoulder pads and a red belt and elbow pads, all studded, and black fingerless gloves. His neck is always obscured by a directional speaker. He always wears a pair of headphones with the word Hage written on the headband and a pair of orange-tinted shades. His name is Hisashi Yamada, also known as Voice Hero, present Mike. He is English teacher in the U.A. He also had his own radio show, and he can make any boring meeting a loud party. Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to my show. He greeted all the entrants like he was a radio host. Everybody say, hey. Unfortunately, for the pro hero, he was met only with a silence. Aizawa would never let him forget it. With gritted teeth, Hisashi continues, tough crowd. I am here to explain you the rules of the practical exam. Then, by the Sento's advice, he pushes a button and the loud, and familiar to the trio, voice calls out. Are you ready? Yeah. This time he receives a large amount of cheer, much to his own happiness. He still didn't lose the touch. Was that a build driver? Geiz asked with a sweat drop. It's Voice Hero, present Mike. I am listening his radio shows, Izuku gushed in admiration. It's true after all. All teachers in US are pro heroes. Shut up, you damn nerd, Katsuki snarled in annoyance. Seeing how Katsuki acts around her friend, Ochako already decided that she doesn't like this guy. Then the voice hero started to explain the rules of the exam. So far it was easy enough. There are 4 types of robots running among in the fake city. For the destruction of each robot will earn you a 1, 2 or 3 point. The more you defeat, the higher the score you would get. The exam lasts for 15 minutes. Candidates are not allowed to fight other candidates. Doing so results in disqualification. In addition, all the entrants will be divided by the 7 sections. I see. They did it so others from the same junior high could cooperate. Katsuki mumbled, looking at his examination card. He is in section A. It's good because it means ace. Then Izuku tries to look at his card. But in answer he received a scowl and a snarl. Hey, don't look, or I will blast you. It's a pity that I can't kick both of your asses right now. Ochako could only glare at the Katsuki after such a rude threat. She couldn't understand how something like him could beat Tsukayomi's grandfather. They then learned that both she and Izuku are in section B, while Geiz in section C. That's good. At least 2 of their group will be together to fight against robots. However, suddenly one of the entrants raised up with a bunch of papers, waving them around. He is a relatively tall and muscular young man with a wide frame. He is probably their age. He has short dark blue hair, flattened neatly down and parted on the right side of his head, a small patch completely shaved near the base of his head, and rather square eyes which match the notably pointed shape of his jaw. He wears a serious expression, and his eyebrows seem to be permanently pointed inwards, quite thin and long in length, the far ends sharply hooked inwards, and he wears glasses with rectangular lenses. Probably because of his quirk, he possesses calves that are incredibly thick and shaped like automobile engines, with 3 silver exhaust pipes protruding from each one. He is Tenya Ida, son of the legendary Ida family of heroes. Sir, I have an important question to ask, he said, talking like a robot while chopping air. On the printout, you listed 4 types of robots, not 3. With all respect, if this an error on official UA materials, it is shameful. We are exemplary students. We expect the best from Japan's most notable school. A mistake such as this won't do. At such a boiled robotic statement, he grabbed the attention of the entire auditorium. All of them gave him a deadpan stare, disbelief or simple sweat drop. Even Geiz couldn't help but to agree with them. This guy is loud and disturbing. If they were in the battlefield, Omazai-o would find the Resistance's hideout. However, there were different reactions as well. Izuku was thinking aloud about his strategy and didn't hear half the words Ida was saying. And Ochako was. PFFTT, she giggled at the tall guy's words. For her that stiffness was very hilarious. Midoriya just now finds the most beautiful and cutest thing in this world. Unfortunately, Tenya did notice it too. But his thoughts were very different. Especially you two, one with unkempt hair who is constantly talking and you who is laughing at important matters. You are distracting the rest of us. Ida chastised them with his attitude and glare. If both of you can't bother to take this seriously, then leave. This place is not for nonsense nor fun. Now the crowd started to laugh, much to the embarrassment of both Izuku and Ochako. They never felt themselves so humiliated. Ever. They wished to be buried deep underground so they would never face taunts. Fortunately, they have a savior. Despite the fact that he needs to kill Izuku and doesn't know Ochako well enough, Geiz couldn't just stay around and do nothing. In his life he doesn't like many things, but he despises people who are bullying people only because they are powerful. Just like Omazayo. And he wouldn't let this glasses guy just to insult and humiliate his acquaintances and get away with it. He will show him who's boss here. Hey pal, right now, the loudest and most distracting person in this room is you, Geiz pointed out, bluntly shocking everyone. His friends were surprised by his actions while Tenya was frozen at the sudden realization. Even Katsuki was kinda caught off guard. At least these two keep this conversation to themselves. They didn't decide to share their opinion with everyone like some people. Maybe it's you who needs to quit right now. Also, Sensei, I have much more important questions to ask. We have a permission to use quirks on the UA grounds, but can we use weapons to defend ourselves against them? Both of you have valuable questions. Participants N7111 and N2234, President Mike said, trying to ease the situation. The last robot is considered himself as arena trap. It is worth 0 points. You can fight it, but you will receive nothing. I recommend you to avoid it. About the second question, of course, you can use your tools if they can be compatible with your quirks or your abilities. Now you two can go back to your seats. Both entrants nodded and sat back to their seats. However, while Geiz felt proud of himself, Tenya felt only shame for his actions. But the former couldn't rest as he was bombarded by the compliments by his friends. Geiz-kun, it was awesome, Izuku gushed in awe. It was surprising for him. In the past, nobody ever defended him against bullies or insults. Some teachers even encouraged them to bully him. Then he started to fight them by himself. Seeing someone defending him felt very warm and happy. You outsmarted him only by a few words. I agree. You were great, Ochako nodded in agreement. She was as happy as Izuku was. Thank you for the save. It was nothing. I was just saying the truth, he stated with a shrug. If he has time to see others' mistakes, then he should notice his own faults. If people like him were in resistance, then all of us would be dead. You are so blunt, the present duo commented with a sigh. Looks like some things about him would never change. Suddenly, the last person they expected to talk with made himself noticeable. Hey you extra, why did you defend Deku? Katsuki asked in confusion. What would you gain if you help him? He is quirkless, insane weakling with impossible dreams. He can't help you in anything. Because I know him, that's all, Mayacoin answered with a glare. That's what people do. They help each other to achieve great things. My old man taught me that there is nothing wrong to help others and that you can achieve great things only by unity. Izuku could only smile at the fact that his childhood friend will become a very wise person. Unfortunately, Katsuki didn't share his thoughts. Your old man is a fool then, Bakugou simply commented with a scoff. He is indeed, Geiz answered in disdain. He likes this version of his mentor less and less. Now, that's all you can do, Yamada said, finishing his speech. At the last moment, he had a feeling that he forgot to say something important to them. Wait a minute, I forgot to mention one thing. The great hero Napoleon Bonaparte once said, true heroism consists in being superior to the ills of life, plus ultra, break a leg, everyone. With his shout, the large words plus ultra displayed on the screen. It was a motto of the UA School for generations. With a silent nod, all entrants left the auditorium to their sections. They come here to try to enroll into the hero school to become heroes. At the same time, Hisashi let out a sigh of relief. When he was explaining the rules to the kids, he always got a feeling like he forgot to mention something important. He was very lucky that they didn't notice his slip-out. But what exactly did he forget? Nah. If he forgot it, then it means that it was unimportant in the first place. Does it mean that this information could save their life in the practical exam? Or would it? Section B. After wishing good luck to Geiz, both Izuku and Ochako went to the bus that would drive them to their destination. Fake City Section B. Before the bus, they changed their old school uniforms to gray and green tracksuits. Then they started to stretch themselves, preparing themselves for the fight against robots. Seeing that Uraraka was starting to get thirsty, Midoriya went to his backpack, which he left in the bus, and took the bottle of cold water for her. However, he once again meets up with Tenya. "Hey, it's you again." The teen started wearing a blue tracksuit. "You were distracting this girl back in the auditorium. What is your objective? Do you want to sabotage this girl's chances?" "No, it's nothing like these," Izuku said in panic and started to stutter. Last thing he needed was for him to be somehow kicked out before the start of the exam. "We are just good friends, that's all." Unfortunately, their talk was caught up by other entrants. All of them remembered their conversation back in the auditorium. And they remembered how uncomfortable and scattered Midoriya was back there. The fact that he is stuttering and panicking right now doesn't help either. Participants already deduced that green-haired boy is a weak small fry, and all of them felt very lucky. Izuku already felt that his competitors already felt superior over him, much to his chagrin. He even heard that some of them are repeating the word lucky over and over again. But then he felt the hand on his shoulder. Midoriya turns around and sees Uraraka, who gives a reassuring smile with a nod of her head. And surprisingly, it worked. She is right. It doesn't matter what these guys think about him. What matters that he came here to win and to pass an exam, and that's what he will do. But he couldn't help but to think about how Geiz is doing. Meanwhile, in the section C at the same time. After leaving Uraraka and Midoriya, Mayacoin changed his clothes to his usual ones. He was wearing it so long as he remembered. For him it was almost like a tracksuit. He was seeing his opponents and so far, they look pretty impressive. The competition will be interesting. However, despite being quirkless, he has one bigger advantage than any of them: experience. He will win this fight easily. Suddenly he was called by someone. "Hey, you are the guy from the auditorium," said the young manly voice. He is a young man with quite long, messy gray hair which is rather peculiar in that it never seems to change shape, and black eyes which are tilted dramatically inwards, each lined with a very thick, jagged, tan-colored substance, which are presumably his eyelashes. He doesn't appear to have any notable eyebrows, and he has rows of sharp, pointed teeth. His name is Tetsu, and he is trying to become the manliest hero in the world. "I must admit you were manly back there. You were defending your bro as a true man," Tetsu smiled, shedding a tear. "You should totally punch this guy with glasses back there. He is full of himself. He reminds me of Kisaragi and Banjo." Geiz thought with a sweat drop, noticing resemblance between two Kamen riders and this guy. "He wasn't my friend back there. He is merely my acquaintance, and I didn't do anything important. I just merely stated the truth. And you are right, he was full of himself." Even still, it was kinda heroic, the gentle female voice called out. She is revealed to be a beautiful redhead. She has a medium height and has a slim build. She has teal eyes and long, ginger hair that she typically wears tied into a high ponytail on the left side of her head. Her bangs are split into 3 clumps around her eyes, and some of her hair sticks up in large tufts on the top of her head. Her name is Itsuka Kendo, one of the aspiring teenagers who wants to be a heroine. "Not everyone can so openly talk like you did back there," she commented with a smile. "Some people would be afraid even to speak in such a large crowd, but you didn't." "It was nothing. I was just stating obvious things." Geiz dismissed their praises. He doesn't need compliments. He was just saying what was in his mind. "I don't understand why it was such a big deal." "It shows your values and priorities," answered the deep voice. It was revealed to be a tall young man with a very beastly appearance. He has shaggy, brown hair covering most of his body. He has sharp teeth and his large jaw sticks out a fair amount, with 2 of his lower canines poking upwards from between his lips. He also wears small, rectangular glasses with thick lenses. His name is Jirota Shishida. Despite his animal looks, he is more intelligent than any people in this zone. It shows that you care about your comrades and their well-being. It's good qualities for a future hero, and I am glad that you will be my classmate. "Thanks, I guess," Geiz mumbled in surprise. "But why are you so curious about me?" "Because we need to know people who would become our potential classmates," Jirota explained with Kendo, and Tetsu nodded in agreement. Wait, you think I will pass? Myacoin asked in disbelief. He didn't know where this guy got so much confidence in him. I know that you will pass, Shishida corrected him with a serious look. UA is the best school in Japan. Even if you fail to pass the exam, they are not fools to not notice your talent or potential. That's why I think that you are already the favorite of this school. I hope I will pass this exam too and become your classmate. Geiz was surprised by this guy's words. Nobody even tells him things like these. In his time, people already gave up on living and wanted to simply die, except for a few ones, of course. But now, in the past, they are saying that everything can be possible. They put him on the pedestal of victory. Maybe that means that he also has a chance to rewrite history without killing Izuku. He can only pray. He was snapped out from his thoughts by the sudden shout. Start. All students in all sections were surprised to hear such loud and unexpected commands. What are you gawking at? There is no real countdown in real life. Come on, move, screamed Present Mike in all sections. It was the only time when Geiz agreed with Voice Hero. And both riders run forward faster than anyone else while equipping and activating their drivers and ride watches. Ziku driver. Zio, Geiz. Henshin, both Izuku and Geiz unintentionally said at the same time and spin their belts. Rider time. Kamenrider Zio, Kamenrider Geiz. Seeing new Kamen riders running ahead of all of them made all entrants dumbfounded. The last thing they expected on UA exam that Kamen riders would participate in too. Have you seen that? They are Kamen riders. What are they doing here? Have any of you noticed what they looked like? I don't know, but I remember he looked very weak. Does it even matter how they looked? With them in exam, we are doomed to fail. Looks like nobody decided to remember the faces of two Kamen riders, but entrants already regret to underestimate both Izuku and Geiz. Their chances to pass just become slimmer. Teacher's monitor room. Meanwhile, Sento and Ryuga, in their build and cross Z forms, were with other teachers in the monitor room. They are looking at the students who are now fighting against robots. They are thinking about the candidates who will pass the exam. However, the teachers are not the same one you see in the normal school. They are unusually different, to say at least. One of them is a tall, slender man with short hair and completely blank eyes tilted inwards. He wears a tan cloak that covers most of his body, the area over his torso, and the high collar resembling that of a double-breasted trench coat. Underneath this, he wears a skin-tight black bodysuit with a golden striped neck area and a matching black helmet that covers his entire head, a jaw guard attached over his nose and around his jaw, and circular mufflers. He also wears baggy dark gray pants and a pair of thin, lightweight prosthetic legs. His name is Ectoplasm, and he is a pro hero and member of the UA high school faculty who teaches mathematics. Second man is a short, skinny man with a very youthful appearance for his advanced age. He has spiky ginger hair, reaching just past his shoulders, and dull blue eyes, as well as a notably large mouth. His hands appear to be the largest part of his body, disproportionate to his rather small frame, and he has an orange L-shaped piece at the end of each finger. His hero costume consists of a large yellow helmet in the shape of a rectangular excavator claw, the top piece of which protruding outwards to cover his head and most of his face, and the bottom piece left to act as something of a long jaw guard. He leaves himself shirtless and also wears a pair of large, fingerless gray gloves with metal guards that extend down his arms, as well as a pair of plain cyan pants. When in battle, his helmet is hooked up to a large steel appliance that he sits on and can use for combat, as it includes a pair of sizable metal arms. His name is Higari Majima, also known as Excavation Hero, Power Loader, a pro hero and faculty member at UA High School. The third man is a very tall, wide-set man of a bulky, muscular build, with lightly tanned skin, a few visible scars showing on his left cheek and the left side of his notably thick neck. He has short pale gray hair which is spiked upwards, away from his face, the only exception to this being the small clump of hair which hangs down over the left of his forehead. His eyes are very small and thin, and he has a wide mouth with two prominent lower canines, which appear even when his mouth is closed. His hero costume consists of a dark red skin-tight suit with a very low U-shaped collar, which exposes the middle of his pectoral muscles and is lined with a thick black trim. which matches the ones over his shoulders. He wears white over the knee boots and thick vambraces over his lower arms, a thin wire snaking from one of the two small protrusions on the left one to the back of his neck, and red gloves. Around his waist, he has a three-piece metallic belt which dips downwards in the center, and he wears an orange mask over his eyes. His name is Sekijiro Ken, also known by his hero name, Blood Hero, Vlad King. The fourth man appears to be a humanoid block of cement with black, seemingly shut eyes and gray hair tied into a short ponytail. His body shape is evenly blocky all around his body. His eyes are generally closed and his lips are pulled upwards. His hero costume consists of a sleeveless brown suit that includes yellow stripes, shorts, and an elongated collar. He also sports gray shoes with yellow soles. Ken Ishiyama, also known by his hero name Cementos, is a pro hero and member of the UA high school faculty where he teaches modern literature. The last man has the appearance of a stereotypical Western cowboy. His face is covered by an old-school tan gas mask, shaped a little like a horse's muzzle, with triangular holes for his eyes and silver ear defenders wired to the sides of the mask. But his dark, bluish shoulder-length dreadlocks are always visible from the back and sides. On his head, he wears a brown cowboy hat with a thick metallic plate at the front, a large S stamped in the center, and gray boots with knee-high shafts and vamps with silver trims that dip a little at the front, a heel band with a spur at the end attached to the back of each boot. He wears a large red cloak, buttoned up at the top, with frayed ends, under which he wears a plain black tank top with white armor strapped over the right side of his torso, and a brown belt with a gun holster attached at his hip. He has baggy black or dark brown pants with light brown or yellow chaps over them in stereotypical cowboy fashion. On his arms, he wears black skin-tight arm guards going up to his biceps, and on his hands, tan gloves. His name is Snipe, who is a pro hero and a member of the teaching staff at UA High School. There was also a strange white creature that looked like a mix between dog, mouse, and bear. He has the head of the mouse with circular black eyes, a large scar over the right one, and relatively rectangular-shaped ears with pink insides slanting outwards from the top of his head, and an elongated muzzle with a small round nose. In addition, he has large dog-like paws with pink pads and a thin tail like that of a cat. He sports a white dress shirt, a dark red tie around his neck, a black double-breasted waistcoat and matching dress pants. He wears orange lace-up sneakers with incredibly thick soles, which seem to be quite large for him. His name is Nezu, who is principal of UA High School. Despite the adorable look, he is very intelligent, and you can see something deep inside in his sadistic mind. But despite their looks and personalities and quirks, they are the best teachers to mold young minds into the best heroes of the current generation. I must admit that this year participants are better than previous ones, commented Ectoplasm looking at the variety of teenagers. You are telling me? I mean, look at them. They are almost tearing them apart. Midnight, who is wearing her hero costume, added, pointing at the screen, which showed Bakugou destroying many villain bots by one shot. Fortunately, there are some kids who are ready to protect each other, Vlad King said, pointing at the bigger teenagers who were covering smaller ones from debris. Giroto was one of them. And I like the fact that some of them aren't afraid to ask for help, Banjo proudly pointed out, seeing a little group of teens attacking two three-pointers. Come on, you little dudes, you almost got him. You can win this fight. Hold a little longer. Cross Z, shut up. They can't hear you, Power Loader complained with his ears closed. I know that they can't hear me, Cross Z explained with a shrug, shocking the teachers. But I am so pumped up by their fight that I can see and hear myself out there. Come on, you guys, you are almost done. Hit him at your right. Hey, look behind you, a two-pointer, don't miss it. Hey, how dare you to steal his points? Let me tell you something, you little thief. All teachers could only sweat and drop at the actions of this kamenrider, who looked like a man-child. How did he even become such a strong and respected hero? No one knows it. It will remain a mystery. I don't think I want to know how he watches sports, Midnight commented with a sweet drop. The results are the same as right now. Except for boxing, Sento explained in shudder. This is the worst. He would accidentally punch you in the face, or he simply would destroy TV by throwing it at the window. That answer didn't reassure his colleague at all. At the same time, All Might, in his weakened form, is looking at the footage of the practical exam, completely ignoring others' dialogue. His mind was completely busy with another matter. He is searching for the successor of his power, the next user of One for All. It wasn't very easy to agree with such a decision. But after hearing many pleas from his friends, colleagues and mentor, he decided to try and find the next inheritor. The last argument was a diagnosis given by Kuryu Sento 10 months ago. He is dying, and he doesn't have much time left. Even the fact that his strongest and viciousness enemy is defeated by him and his best friend rival didn't deny the fact that this world will need the symbol of peace to keep people safe. That was the reason why he was acting less in the action, letting the younger pro-heroes to shine. That was also the reason why he got a job at UA, to find a successor. But so far, he hasn't found anyone. Of course, he had good candidates in mind, courtesy from both his former sidekick and principal of UA, and all of them were very good to become a new user of his power. However, there was still something missing. Some kind of spark. He doesn't know exactly what exactly he is searching for in his future successor, but he knows that they don't have it. In desperation, he decided to ask his old friend for advice about a successor, and what he received not only completely surprised him, but also inspired him to continue the searches. You are searching for a successor for One for All and asking me for advice? Ha ha ha. You didn't change at all, Toshinori, and I see why you are asking me. It's because my successors are on every channel. But the problem is, I didn't choose any of them. All of us have different powers. The main point is they were chosen by their powers itself. Your problem is that you let other people choose for you. You need to choose him by yourself. Listen to your heart. Listen One for All, and then you will find your successor. And I am completely sure that your chosen one will be the greatest hero the world has ever seen. Or maybe if you are lucky, he will be kamenrider. Who knows, but I am sure that Shimura-san would do the same thing. I miss your optimism, old friend, Yagi thought with a nostalgic and sad smile while making a hand gesture. It had been a really long time since they met or talked for the last time. The fact alone left a sour taste in his mouth. Because everything he has, he owns to this man, his status as symbol of peace and as the N1 hero. The reason that he is alive is only because of his friend's help. If it wasn't for support of his best friend, he wouldn't be here. It's really sad that he can't give his friend a recognition he deserves. But stop thinking about the past. He needs to think about his future. He needs to find a successor. He started to look back at the screens. He doesn't know how to explain it, but he got a feeling that he can find the next inheritor in the current exam. Maybe One for All can really find its next user by itself, and he only needs to listen to it. His and other teachers snapped out from their thoughts by the sudden message of Present Mike. Bad news, everyone, Voice Hero screamed from the receiver, making everyone cringe from such loud noise. You would never believe who is participating in the practical exam. Look at the monitors that show sections B and C. Startled by the panic of their colleague, all the teachers decided to look. And the next second, all their jaws fell onto the ground, except for Build, Cross Z and Nezu. They couldn't believe their eyes. 2 newest kamenriders are participating in the entrance exam? I can't believe my eyes, Cementos said with widened eyes. Kamenriders are taking the entrance exam? Asked Snipe in shock. What are they doing here? Why are they doing it? Do they even have the proper age to become students here? Asked Vlad King in disbelief. I think yes. I mean, they wouldn't participate if they were too old, Banjo unintentionally answered. His answer made other teachers look at him in a sudden realization. It means that they do know about the newbies. Kuryu could only face palm at his partner's obviousness. Looks like they are busted. Banjo, you are terrible at keeping secrets, Build moaned in annoyance. Build, Cross Z, you two know them, Power Loader accused 2 teachers with a frown. Yes, so what? Sento answered with a shrug. I know many riders. It never was a problem before. Because in the past, at least one pro-hero knew the identity of kamenrider, Vlad King angrily pointed out. He never liked the scientist's unserious behavior and his stupid quips. They pissed him off. In addition, they never decided to participate in the UA activities. And finally, they weren't teenagers when they first started. Actually, Force, Meteor, and Ghost were only slightly older than those two kids when they started, Ryuga pointed out, but the angry glare didn't disappear. Come on, what's wrong? Those two are quirkless. They didn't break the law at all. They were fighting with me, Sento, Bunny Girl, and BDSM. Hey, don't look at me. I had no idea that the new riders are teenagers, Nimiri protested in defense. I didn't even saw their faces. And stop calling me BDSM. With an outfit such as yours, it would be impossible, Sento stated deadpanned under his helmet. Also, Marco said that she will take care of all problems. She is our friend. Wait, does that mean that Banjo didn't lie about his meeting with her? Ectoplasm commented in realization. Nope. I was saying the truth, Ryuga answered smugly. At these words, Snipe gave Cementos 200 yen bills. It means that someone lost and won the bet. That fact alone irritated Cross Z so much. But it still didn't change the fact that you didn't contact us and didn't arrest them for vigilantism, Snipe pointed out. And you still let them participate in exam. Why? Because he wanted to give them a chance. The answer came not from Genius Hero, but from Principal of U.A. himself. I mean, for all other Kamen riders, Destiny decided to give them powers when they were adults. No one of them had an opportunity to learn to be heroes at schools. And those two decide to become pros through the law. I mean, you should admit that this option is better than the alternative one. At such words, all hero teachers couldn't help but agree with Nezu. It was true. It wasn't a secret how the public sees Kamen riders. Some people indeed see them as proud, strong, and respectful defenders of the world, but the other half sees them as uncontrollable, unlicensed vigilantes who always broke the law and messed with pros' work. There were some cases where pro heroes tried to arrest Kamen riders. Fortunately, U.A. is the place where people can see true heroism, and despite that teachers do not always agree with vigilantes' methods of work, all of them respect Kamen riders greatly. Well, most of them anyway. Let's just give these kids a chance, Nezu suggested. I mean, it would be unfair to all participants cancel the exam when it already started. I must add that so far, they are handling it, Allmight added pointing at the screens, which shows Zio and Geiz destroying the bots easily. Well, if it's principal's order, it means we don't have a choice. They will stay, Vlad King admitted with a tired sigh before his expression became serious. But Sento, Ryuga, you two should remember. You two are his senpais and you brought them here. It means that they are your responsibility. If something happens to them or something happens because of them, it's all on you. Understood? We understood you, Dracula, Banjo answered in a boring tone. Such a voice irritated the pro hero so much. Also, what powers this Kamen rider has, Cementos asked curiously. The ancient civilization, magic, other realities, mystical beings, new high technology, or science like yours. Oh, just wait and see. Trust me, you will be so surprised. Sento smirked dangerously under his helmet like a mad scientist. Then his expression became cheerful once again. It will also be a good opportunity to test my robots. And I don't know the perfect one to test them than my Kamen rider Kuhai. Mike-san, did you mention that new drones were built by me? What new bots? The blonde asked in confusion. That alarmed red and blue Kamen rider deeply. He then takes Mike and tries to contact his colleague in panic. Mike, you are an idiot. How could you forget about my bots? It was the entire reason why we extended the practical exam. Do you have any idea what would happen to participants when they see them? It would cost them their lives. I wrote down the changes of the exam and kept reminding you for 2 weeks. How could you forget? Even Banjo could remember it. Yeah, the Dragon Rider cheered before realizing what his friend just said. Hey! This is the worst, the Build Rider moaned in exasperation. Now I really need to shut down my bots before they could act. Actually, wait a minute, Build-san, Nezu suddenly called out. Don't shut them down, let them in the fields. I don't get it, President Nezu, Sento said in confusion. They are dangerous for participants if they are not prepared for them. That's a point, Sento-kun, the principal continued with a dangerous smile. One of the main skills of heroes is to adapt to any situation in battles, especially unexpected ones, and I see there is a perfect opportunity for them to taste a sample of hero life. Don't you agree with me? I understand now, Principal Nezu, Kuryu said with a nod before his expression became devious. Oh, Nezu-san, you are actually a devil. Oh, you have no idea, Sino-kun, the chimera creature answered with the same face. Then both geniuses started to chuckle slightly before it changed to the maniacal laugh of the mad scientists. Such laughter terrified all teachers to shake from fear and terror at seeing two of their smartest colleagues acting like mad scientists. It results in nothing good. Great, now it's two of them, Cross Z commented with a gulp. Others shared his thoughts. Because the only thing that could be scared is a crazy genius. Its team consists of crazy genius and sadistic genius. They couldn't help but pity students and their next challenge, whatever it is. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 4. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author Mickle97 on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.